All right, it's a beautiful autumn day here in Minnesota. Brian Whitaker at Wits End Ranch. Today I'm on Sawyer, and Hondo is helping me out. It's been unusual weather here. It's been sunny and warm. We still need rain, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to make a video because of all the different things that can come up. Now, Sawyer's job today, and Hondo and mine, several different things going through one kind of pasture that has several different paddocks. And one, just going to check fence as always. That's just a standard as you ride down. Make sure the fence, especially with electric fence, that it's not touching the metal post. That means that it's short out. That means it's not working, which means that's not good. But I realized without even really thinking about it is there's certain things that comes up that grab my attention. And this cow here laying down, first of all, it grabbed my attention because I saw her up here, a little bit off to herself, not bad. As I was coming out, she was standing. Well, then the way, it's amazing how depth perception, how it looked like for sure that she was on what would be the right side of this fence. It's not the end of the world. It's just, why would she be on that side? She's not supposed to be. That means, is there a fence down? Well, as I got up closer, she's where she belongs, but as you notice here, she's laying down off to herself. Now, if we're gonna go on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being minor, not even great, 10 being really something's bad, red alert. This on my scale is about a 2 to maybe 3. And I'm sure it's going to end up being nothing, but we're going to ride by her first. And I'll give that reason why here in a bit. The reason it's caught my attention is, why is she laying down when everybody else is eating? And that, a lot of this will hold true with horses as well. Why is that horse laying down off by itself? All right, now here's why, good example, why I'm not, it's dropping down to about a 1. Let me finish that thought. Horses tend to lay down way less than cattle. I'll just say that. Cattle lay down, I don't know what the actual hours per day. Horses, sometimes it's hard to catch them laying down certain days. Cattle, it's usual. So as I come up here, I see the rest of the group here is in a corner, kind of near the shade. Got the bull down here with a cow. And so that's why it kind of jumped down to 1. Probably what was happening here is this cow was with this group. She laid down and they just kind of carried on. A lot of times what I might do is go by and get them up just to see if they're fine. Now, that would be a different alert on the 1 to 10 scale if this was calving season for me, because most times cows will go off by themselves. They want to get away from everybody. They'll kind of find a place to hide if they can, to go have a calf. Heifers, meaning the first time they've never had a calf, or first time they've had a calf, I should say, they'll act a little bit different. There's no predictability with some heifers. By and large, these heifers here, since they're kind of part of the family, meaning they've been born and raised here, they won't get as nervous and kind of take off. But speaking of heifers, when that cow was a heifer, well, I guess that would have been just last year, I couldn't find her. And I knew she was getting close to have a calf. She was down in this spot here, and so it's a kind of a rectangle. It jogs around a little bit, but by and large, we'll call it rectangle kind of deal, pasture. So as far as that goes, it's fairly easy to look for them. However, it's by far the most wooded and swamp terrain I have condensed into a smaller acreage. So I couldn't find her. Could not find her anywhere. I looked for a couple hours on foot because some of that you just got to get off and look. Well, finally I found her in the swamp, and I didn't want to take a chance. Would she have the calf down there? My guess was no. She would have kind of wised up and gotten out of the swamp, but maybe she went down there because she was kind of feeling hot. So anyway, what I did is I brought her up in a separate pasture where she had to kind of be out in the open, and everything just turned out to be fine. So we kind of walked around here. Now as I see closer, we got some, I think they're calves. These calves are getting to the age where they're getting bigger. Okay, now I can see a tag, so I know that's a heifer laying by the bull. So that also tells me something, that maybe that bull is kind of following that heifer around that breeding season. So he's doing his job. So I thought I'd just give a little glimpse, something that really don't even put much thought into a lot of times, when it's like you come out here and go, now that's different. Why is she off? 99% of the time, when it's like that, it's absolutely nothing. Is it a good idea to check? Absolutely. It's kind of a good idea to check, to ride through. Horses are by far the best thing. A good horse, a horse that knows the deal, are the best to check on anything. Horses, cattle, anything with the pasture. You've got that. Again, a good horse is quiet. Their steps aren't heavy. They're not dancing around. They're not being loud. And I've done it plenty of times with the four-wheeler. There's times where it's just more convenient. But my choice, and it's not even close, is a horse, because as you can see, I can get fairly close and they don't bother at all. I'm not saying that's not the case with a four-wheeler or side-by-side, but they're a little more apt to jump up because they'll hear a noise in the engine, and all of a sudden it gets close. And you're just up higher. You can see things better on a horse, and you can kind of mimic their movements better. The one thing I've seen with people a lot of times in side-by-sides is that's what they use to get the mineral, or bring the mineral out, or some people kind of hand feed them, or feed them cubes, or feed them hay out of it. So that gets everybody, which if you want to train them to that, that's great. But like in this case, I don't want them to do anything. They could just hang out. She's chewing her cud. She's ruminating. That's another good sign. That means she's not in distress. She's probably not sick. Generally, they don't do that when things aren't well. That's all good stuff. Her ears are forward. A little hard to see, but her eyes are bright and alert. No part of her belly, especially up on the left side by her spine, that it's not a big round gassy mass. That would be a good indicator that she'd be bloating. They usually, they're never this comfortable if they're bloating, and there'd be no really reason why they'd be bloating out here. Usually if it's alfalfa or a lot of clover, but right now this grass, although we get a lot of dew in the morning, this grass is pretty short. It's dry. It's pretty green though, because we did have some rain, but it's, they're used to it. So anyway, I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to give a little glimpse of just a quick little thing that could last. I made it a little bit longer just to explain in the video, but this would have been about a 2-minute ride by. Are you all right? All right, you look good. There'd be nothing wrong with riding up to her to get her up, just to check everything out. You definitely don't want a cow that's been down too long. A lot of bad things can happen. They can pinch a nerve, or maybe did pinch a nerve, and that's why they're down. They're down long enough, and they'll die. They'll get so much gas, and they'll basically kind of suffocate. So don't see any distress. Like I said, I saw that she was up, so it's not like she's up and down. Horses will tend to do that more than anything. If they're in distress, it's up and then down and then up. That's a 9 or a 10 on my scale. This is a 0. No concern with her at all. No concern with anybody else. I see that one of these cows over here got up. the bull tends to lay down more than the rest. That's just what this particular bull does, saving his energy. And just as I speak now, I think he's gonna get up. A lot of times they'll do that. They'll kind of half get up, but they go rock back and forth. What I think they're doing is kind of scratching their belly. I don't think it's geez, I can't get up kind of thing. You can kind of see it's like, oh, that feels good. So he's kind of throwing his head, like they're found a little mound there that they're scratching their belly on, because they really can't get to their bellies much. They can with their tail and their head, and they can lick their backs, and there he got up. That's kind of his personality. I'll get there, and then he's stretching. I'll get there. Don't rush me. I'll get there. So then the next thing I'm going to do, since I'm down here, is just check on their water. Check to make sure it looks clear, and everything, and of course that it's full. We got a 150-gallon tank here, and days like even today, they'll go through that. It's actually on a continuous water flow right now, but what I'm going to do is shut it off down here so that the water won't flow now for a few hours, because I have an above ground pipe system, and even on days like this, it can really heat that pipe system up to get hot water for a while. It's pretty amazing, but it's only 2 years old. It's only the second year, so it's really only a little over a year old. So as this pipe system, as the grass grows around it, it kind of becomes part of the earth. It'll stay cooler longer. But since I'm down here, I'll go ahead and shut this off. Check the mineral out. Make sure that's all good and full. Check the fence, all that good stuff. So thought I'd bring you along on a few things that I check.